Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, holidays are here, and it's very easy to get caught up in everything that's going on. Got to shop, got to wrap. I'll be doing that tonight. Got to plan all the getaways, everything that's going on there. And sometimes we get stressed out. Sometimes we get frustrated. Sometimes we know that we have to see Uncle Vinny and his 3 glasses of wine and deal with politics and all of that. But then we lose sight of the fact that we should be thankful and we should practice gratitude. We're going to talk about that and so much more. And that's through the mind of somebody that has an amazing mental health facility helping people all over Massachusetts and elsewhere. I'm going to say abroad, because New Beginnings in Massachusetts also helps people in other countries, and certainly did some things in their hometown over the weekend. We're going to hit up as well. She's our Diamond of the Decade. She is the woman behind New Beginnings. Sherri Alexandrovich is back here. How you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How about yourself?
Good. I want to learn. You mentioned it last time we got together, so I want to learn about your toy drive that just went down.
Okay, so this is the first year that we've done that. In the past, we've helped out families that have been in need, but at a much smaller and more individualized scale. So this year, we were fortunate enough that the Blue Angels, which is a foundation out of Manchester, Connecticut, donated toys for all of our families in needs. So this year, we were able to provide toys for 43 families. Almost 100 kiddos got packages of toys to open on Christmas morning.
Wow.
So it was absolutely amazing. And so what New Beginnings was able to do this year, we created kind of a winter wonderland in our office. So as you walked in, there was Santa and Mrs. Claus set up. And so the families came in, they checked in, they got their goodie bags, the kids sat down, we did pictures with myself and with Santa. And then, all the Santa's helpers brought the kiddos back to the ornament station where they made ornaments for their parents, while the parents went to the other side of the office to grab the gifts. And they went out a different door so that they could put the gifts in the car for the kiddos. And then we had pizza and waters and different things going on for the families as they kind of rotated through the stations. And I'll tell you, the staff did such an absolute amazing job of facilitating and getting that set up. 2 in particular, Stephanie and Sean, did such an absolutely amazing job while I was in Ghana of just getting all of this ready. I mean, I'm telling you, our offices were chock full of toys everywhere. You couldn't even walk for over a week. It was absolutely such an amazing thing to do. And as you know, New Beginnings does a lot of this stuff in Ghana. And so for us to be able to hold such an amazing event here in our town in Worcester and be able to provide, for these families in need was just so incredible. One of the first kiddos that came in yesterday, we did everybody in half-hour segments so that people had time to kind of come through and people weren't rushed and there wasn't, long lines of kids waiting outside in the cold. And so we kind of staggered them in half-hour sections and individualized it so that they would have time to kind of work their way through the different stations. The very first boy of the day came in. What do you want for Christmas? He looks at us and he says, my mom. My mom's in heaven. All I want is my mom for Christmas. My heart. Oh, it was just, if I could just let anybody, listening today, just have a moment to just think about the things that we're grateful for and the things that we have. And, I think in the holiday season, we get caught up on what we can buy for other people and, what's going to be under the tree, when what really is the focus is who we have at Christmas time and who we have in our lives to cherish and to help us and to support us and to love us. And that just goes so much further. And this little boy, so I gave him a hug and I said, I'm giving you a hug from heaven. And I hope that you can feel that in your heart. And although he was there with his caretaker and, he was happy to be able to get his gifts and do his ornament, it was such an emotional way to just even start our day. I mean, he was the first kiddo through the door. And, he was 8 or 9 years old. It was just incredible that we were able to do something for that family in order to help ease the burden of who was taking care of him. And throughout the holidays, it was just such an amazing thing to be able to experience. And I think the one thing that we were able to really kind of take away from yesterday is just looking at the smiles on these kiddos' faces was absolutely so heartwarming. And, I posted a video on our Facebook page this morning, just one of the many videos that are being made of the kiddos. We did have, the parents sign disclosures in order for us to be able to post the pictures of the kiddos up on our social media. So, but you can just see the look on their faces and the smiles and the staff that were there. I mean, we have 48 of us at New Beginnings, and, we had 15 of us that showed up yesterday. And it was so incredible to see everybody that came out and helped out on their day off, and to be able to, we had people there 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning helping us set up. And, we didn't open our doors till 12 o'clock. So it was absolutely, I know for me personally, I couldn't be any more grateful for all of my staff, and to just for New Beginnings to be in a position to not only be able to give back to the community, but globally to be able to do these things is just such an amazing feeling.
Sure.
It just incredible.
I'm amazed at what you've accomplished over the weekend, in that's the first time you ever did it. That's number one. Number two, I don't believe there are coincidences. I like to call them coincidental incidents.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that 8-year-old boy was the first person that went through there? You think that was for a reason, to reframe it for you, to say, oh, that's why we're here?
I do. I believe that the universe had a plan in place. And, he was, like I said, he was the first one through the door, and they were early. So there really wasn't anybody immediately after him. So we were really able to take the time. So David Hart is my clinician who was, Santa Claus with me. I was Mrs. Claus. So we were really able to, yeah.
I didn't know that, but okay, great. It makes it even better.
And so we were able to really take the time to talk to him and have him sit on our lap and be able to just kind of individualize his experience before everybody else kind of came through the doors. And so, yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, I do think that the universe really had a plan in place for us yesterday. And just to be able to spend the time with this one little boy and be able to have these conversations with him was just so amazing. It just was so.
I'm convinced that happened that way, because it was not that you needed to hear that, but well, maybe you did. Maybe there's just, what all the effort that went into this, everything that up to this point, people taking time off from their busy holiday weekend before Christmas. That was the validation right out of the gate. There it was. Isn't there? I'm not taking anything away from the holidays. There's joy in shopping for gifts and seeing people and all of that. But I'm going to take that and put it over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Is there no greater feeling than knowing that you're helping somebody else that really needs it?
Mm-hmm. For me personally, and I think that I can, pretty assuredly speak for my entire staff, that is the reason that we do what we do, not just clinically, but to volunteer in the community and the stuff that we do year round. We sponsor, the high school sports scholarships through the Telegram and Gazette here in Worcester. We do the summer jam. I mean, we do so many community events that go beyond just providing gifts or providing money or, things like that. We're able to get out and show ourselves out there to the community and just be able to help and be present in people's lives. And that's why we do what we do. I mean, that is the reason that we are able to kind of just feel so grateful, I guess is really kind of the word that I know that I kind of keep going back to, but that's where it is that we're in a fortunate place that we can be able to give back to the community emotionally, not just monetarily, but to be able to be there to support them and show people that there are people out there that care. There are people out there
Mm,
who want to give a lending hand. There are people out there who can offer hope, who can offer encouragement, who can be there to support and guide and help individuals through. Because right now, everybody's in crisis this time of year. That's the holidays. People are sad. People are struggling.
yep.
People are, really having a difficult time with not having the money that they need, or not being able to pay their bills, or not being able to even have people in their lives to spend the holidays with. And that's sad, to think about. And wanting to be able to help every individual is really who we are at the core of New Beginnings. And if you could have seen the staff yesterday and the family text messages that we got of gratitude from each and every family. There was one family that's from out of town that was a last minute add-on, and they had a crisis within their family. They weren't able to provide anything for their kiddos. And with the help of the community, we were able to put together a really nice package to send to
Mm.
the kiddos so that this family could provide stuff for their kids to wake up. And, for every day, every kid deserves to be special. Every kid deserves to be acknowledged and recognized and feel like they're important. And I'm really hoping that we were able to provide that yesterday to the almost 100 kids that we were able to service, to help them to feel like they're important and they matter. And that's what's important to us.
As I look back at this past weekend, the best part of the weekend, and I did some fun stuff, hang out with
Mhm.
friends, or a tribute band, blah, blah, blah. Went holiday shopping. I went to get a cup of coffee at a convenience store, and there were two women separate from each other, just happened to be there at the same time.
Mhm.
And they were sifting through cans and bottles. And they was freezing out.
Mhm.
And you could tell that this whole situation. It's not that they, and I don't know their stories, but it's not like they're getting money, for substances or anything like
Mhm.
that. Even, alcohol. That's not what's going on here. They're on
Right.
hard times, and I could see it. You know it. When you know it, you know it. And
Mhm.
one of the women, I think it was about a year ago, was driving down the street, and there she is pushing a shopping cart, and just breaks my heart. And I stopped and gave her money. And I did that over the weekend to both of those women. I said, Merry Christmas. And you could see it in their
Mhm.
eyes. They were like so appreciative.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's people that scam out there. Um, and I see them. And I just have a feeling that that's not legit. These two
Mhm.
women, it,
Mhm.
it was it
Yeah.
was legit. And that was the best part of my weekend. Maybe my
Absolutely.
holidays. Maybe my holidays.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, December for me personally has just been this particular December in particular. I mean, 2025 has been a very challenging year, I think, for many, many people. I know for me personally, it's been an extraordinarily challenging year of many different obstacles that I've had to kind of get through and overcome, both personally and professionally. And so for the month of December to have been filled with so many amazing opportunities, coming back from Ghana and the work that we did there. And then, Saturday, we were part of a toy drive out in Connecticut with the Blue Angels, 176 families that we were able to help provide gifts for. And for watching my grandson, who just the smile on his face as he was carrying out the garbage bags to
Yeah.
the police cars and putting them in the back, and the kids and their faces. And I mean, my cheeks, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't need to have any sort of cheek lifts done for the next rest of my life, because the smiling and my cheekbones were so sore by the end of Saturday. And then for Sunday to have this repeat in such a much more personalized way, because there are clients at the clinic and I know them and I know the families and I know their stories. And we were able to have them come into our facility and be able to, walk around and do pictures with Santa and the parents. And they were just so thankful for what we had done for them. It just was such an absolutely amazing experience. And then, to top it all off, my grandson's adoption anniversary was Sunday. And so this was 3 years since I had adopted him. I've had him since he's been 3 weeks old, but the official adoption. And so we were able to celebrate his adoption day in the midst of what we were doing for the community. And he just was so happy. You could just see the smile on his face throughout the entire day. It was just so absolutely incredible.
I
So
mean, there's probably, I mean, you knew it was a good lesson for him,
Mhm.
but I'm guessing, Sherri Ann, that you didn't realize how it was going to impact you in the way that it did.
I yeah, it was it was an emotional day
Yeah,
for sure. It was an emotional weekend, and um sorry.
I
It's
totally
it's
understand.
it's when you look at the kids' faces, it's really overwhelming for sure.
You won't forget that.
No, and I think for me personally, coming from a place where I remember the day that I could not afford to buy my own kids gifts, and I could not afford when the tooth fairy was coming or there was a field trip that came up, in remembering what that felt like to not have anybody to rely on or not have anybody to come through for me to ensure that my kids got what they needed. So to be able to have this come full circle for me is pretty incredible.
Well, you've always done the right thing and you continue to, and blessings come your way. But
Yeah,
I'm saying you're not going to forget any of this ever. And as
yeah.
I'm scanning my mind right now, even as we're talking, I still remember 30 something years ago, I'm on the radio. We remember Tickle Me Elmo?
Yes, yes, I do. Yep.
It turned into this big thing and you couldn't get them anywhere. And there were, people wanted them so bad. And well, somebody donated two Tickle Me Elmo dolls for us to auction off on the radio. And there were
Oh,
two twin boys, both having cancer. Both of them had cancer and needed
ah,
treatment. Again, this is like 30 years ago, and I still remember like it was 5 minutes ago. And I
mhm.
remember being on the air asking for donations, and people are giving money for the dolls that we can give to the twin boys. And I remember the phone call I got. The company was called Computer Associates in the area, and it was the CEO heard it, and he says, "I'll give you $10,000 a piece for
Oh,
those dolls."
oh my God.
I literally dropped to the floor and cried. Like I couldn't even
Yeah,
like this can't be real.
right.
And that enabled them to get treatment. And it was, I'll never forget it. Two silly dolls,
Right.
like,
It's the generosity of people, and that's really what I really hope that anyone who's listening today can really take away from is, there are people out there who are generous, and I understand that there are a lot of things in this world that are overwhelming and disturbing and disappointing and sad, and sometimes it's really hard to see the good that is out there. But this is a time of year, if we can ever just take a step back and just really appreciate the wonderful things and bypass some of that negativity, and be able to really kind of have that forward movement and have that focus on all of the wonderful positive people that do want to make a difference, and not give any energy or credibility or attention to the people who are negative and who are not out for your best interest. And I think as we're approaching the week of Christmas, and we've got Christmas Eve and we've got Christmas Day, and similar to what we talked about with Thanksgiving, and how do we deal with family members that are toxic, or the chaos, or family members that we don't really want to spend a lot of time with but kind of feel obligated that we have to. If we can just walk into the holiday season remembering all the wonderful things that we do have, and all the wonderful people that are out there, and the things that we can do to make a difference, and really try to open our hearts up to that, and not allow our hearts to be clouded with that negativity, because there are people out there who want to take that from you. They want to take those moments, they want to take those smiles, because that's where they're going to get their energy from. Don't give it to them. Don't
mm,
give them that energy, right? Just take a moment to just appreciate and be grateful and happy for the things that we have, and have that forward movement and going into 2026 with a different perspective, one of hope, one of gratitude, one of forward movement, one of positivity and optimism. And if you're struggling with that, pick up the phone and make a phone call. There's always somebody that's going to listen and get the help that you need, because we're all here, all of us therapists. This is what we do. This is what we want to do. This is what we love. This is the help that we want to give to the community, and be able to help everybody through those difficult times, and be able to understand that each and every person deserves to be loved. Each and every person deserves happiness and positivity. And it's not about the money. It's not about the gifts. It's about what's in your heart, and really appreciating that. And like that little boy who all he wanted for Christmas was his mom, and we couldn't give that to him. And how absolutely sad and devastating that was.
His mom gave him love. You did.
Yeah. And that's what we can give, right? Because sometimes we can't replace the broken. Sometimes we can't replace what's missing. But what we can do is we can add to it, and we can give people, even if it's a hug, even if it's a smile, even if it's a thank you, that we can give. That's free. Those are things that don't cost us any money. Those are things that we can give to every single person that we come across, just to help them understand that they're valued and they're appreciated, and they too deserve to experience the wonderful things that are out in the world, and the wonderful people that are out there. I know my staff are one of them. They are just, I absolutely love every single one of them. They are absolutely the best. I mean, I can't talk enough about my New Beginnings family. 11 years, and every year they are dedicated, and this is what they do. You know, one of my clinicians paid for an Uber for her family to come to the event yesterday. And I said, well, we're going to reimburse you for that. You don't need to pay for your clients' Uber. But I mean, that's the length that my clinicians go to, is they go above and beyond. And it's not about, that statement wasn't made to me so they could get reimbursed. It was, I have a family that can't make it for transportation. I'm gonna make sure that they get an Uber. What is their time slot? And my response is, we are absolutely going to make sure that you get reimbursed for that. Those are things that my staff do to ensure that the families get what they need, not just emotionally, but in every support imaginable.
Well, let's look at a staff member who you traveled around the world with to support a charity.
Yeah.
To the extent that even just in the last few months made such a difference in another country where they're destitute, where kids in an orphanage don't even have a bathroom with a roof on it, literally outside. Just amazing, and that just speaks volumes for your staff, where you saw promise in one staff member that was taking this on and said, no, I'm going to help you with that. And you did a week ago, and here you are handing out toys to 100 kids. Sherri Ann, I'm blessed to know you. I don't even know how this all comes together. You're like a magician. It's like magical.
Well, I have magical helpers. That is
okay.
Sure. I cannot take the credit for all of this. I mean, we had T-shirts made for all the staff, and all the kids who came yesterday got a New Beginnings and a T-shirt that said Santa's Helpers on the back, and a New Beginnings logo in the front, and the Blue Angels logo as well, since they were part of this toy drive. But everybody got, all my little Santa's Helpers, every single one of them are the reason that we are who, and our accomplishments for today. I mean, I might just, be the person who is the one speaking here, but I'll tell you, it's a community event. This is everybody. New Beginnings as a whole is who makes this happen. And their hearts are all so genuine and so beautiful. And I'm just so proud of them.
Website is newbeginningswc.com.
Yes.
If you're compelled if you're having some challenges, if they're immediate, there's phone numbers to call. If you need support in other ways, you can do it virtually. Or if you're somebody that just wants to support some of the initiatives that New Beginnings is doing, reach out. You're reachable by that website. I heard 3 words just before we got on here. Somebody said, I'm going to repeat them because they mean a lot. Love and beyond. Love and beyond. Think that. Go with that. Love and beyond.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to see the amazing videos, they're on our Facebook page, which is just yesterday's event was so incredible and so heart-filled. And to see the smile on the kiddos' faces, I would encourage, if anybody just wants to smile, please take a look at our Facebook page, because there's some amazing stuff up there. You know, I've been trying to do better at keeping that up to date. One of my many social media tasks, and I don't do a great job of it, but I did make sure I put at least one video up, and there'll be a few more as the week goes on, as people, I mean, there's hundreds of pictures that staff took.
Hey, you're a little busy.
You're
a little busy. Sherri Ann, thank you so much.
Thank you
for making us aware of this. That little boy had a message for all of us.
Oh, gosh.
And that's why he showed up first. I'm convinced it's not even a thought. There's a reason there.
Love that. That makes my heart feel so happy.
Happy holidays to you and your family, your staff, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. We'll talk next week, and happy holidays to everybody else out there.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.